Water that we drink needs to be safe. This doesn't mean that the water has to be pure, but it does mean that the levels of dissolved substances and microorganisms have to be sufficiently low as to be healthy. Our water comes from two sources. Either it's collected from rivers or reservoirs above ground, or it's pumped from underground through boreholes where there are no suitable rivers or lakes. Firstly, we choose the water source so that the water is as clean as possible. Water from boreholes is quite clean as it's already been naturally filtered as it seeps through the rocks. Taking river water from as far upstream as possible ensures that the minimum amount of contamination is in the water from sources of pollution. Once collected, the water is passed through filter beds to remove solids and sterilised by adding chlorine to kill harmful microorganisms. This diagram shows the water treatment process in more detail. Water from the reservoir is allowed to settle so that solid particles carried by the water are deposited. Then the very fine suspended solid particles are removed by making them stick together to form larger particles, which then sink and are deposited. The water is passed through a filter bed to remove the finest suspended solids so that it looks clear, and sterilised using chlorine before it's piped to our homes. Chlorine is very effective at killing microorganisms, but the amounts have to be carefully monitored as chlorine is toxic in larger quantities. Chlorine can also react with dissolved organic substances in the water, forming other toxic substances. Despite this, most people believe that the benefits of sterilising water using chlorine outweigh the risks. In some parts of the world, fluoride compounds are also added to drinking water. Fluoride helps to protect teeth from decay, and in countries where fluoride is added, there are far fewer fillings needed. However, too much fluoride might weaken bones or lead to bone cancer, so there is a debate as to whether the benefits outweigh the risks. Some people argue that they should at least have the right to choose whether there is fluoride in their water. Many homes have filter jugs to improve the quality and taste of drinking water. The jug contains a cartridge that the water filters through. This does two things. It reduces the level of chlorine and organic compounds in the water by adsorbing them onto an activated carbon surface, and it softens the water, removing calcium, magnesium, lead, copper and aluminium ions using an ion exchange resin. These ions are swapped for ions such as sodium or hydrogen. The filter also contains silver particles to discourage the growth of bacteria in the filter. These three components work for a few weeks, but after that the carbon and the ion exchange resin become less effective at removing substances from the water, and bacteria may start to grow in the filter, which would then get added to the water as it filters through. This is why filter cartridges need to be changed regularly.